live here, and since I was having technical problems before, I'm using the screen recorder and we're going live like this. Oh boy, Kylon. Hello, buddy. Okay, here we go. All right, it's public. I guess I have to start it and then invite Lappy with my ratty Afro. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we do it. No request to join. Invite Lappy. Savage. Invite, invite. There we go. What's up, Chazinator? Anyway, Lappy's joining us in a second. Hey, Lappy. What's up, Chaz? We going Lizzly live. So you've joined Lappy, but how do I connect you is the question. I assume that I'll get some kind of pop-up in a second that's going to tell me what to do. But we are going live so that Lappy can start serving up some hot tea because we actually went live last night on YouTube and it did not work. We had some technical problems. Um, that's it. It's an interesting thing for us to have technical problems about. So Lappy, I think maybe if you hit the request to join thing, it might show me something. I'm not sure why, but it's not just connecting you automatically. Um, but yeah, I don't actually know what happened to the live that we did last night. We had about 5 seconds on one of the lives, and then we decided to start over, and that one ended up saving. But the other, where we talked for about 25 minutes, I think, didn't work as it would appear. Um, Lappy, you have been invited already. Uh, let's see. Let me try this. Let me uninvite you and invite you again. Okay, I can't cancel the invite for some reason. We just having all kinds of technical issues. Maybe Instagram saw me punch in this title. Maybe YouTube saw me punch in this title. There we go. Somebody wants to join. There we go. There you are. You coming through? You coming through? Maybe you're coming now. Send a request. Hello, Miss Bebe Poppin. Uh, accept. Go live with Lappy. I keep hitting the button. There we go.
Do you see me?
I can hear you. Can't see you yet,
Oh,
but I can
wait.
hear you.
You're seeing my floor.
Yep, you gotta turn your camera around. We got all kinds of stuff happening. There you are. Hi, honey.
Hey, what's up?
That's what's up. How's your little day trip going?
It's pretty good. Just, performing, meeting people, how we do on tour.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Cool. Um, good to see
So you can hear
everybody in
me,
the
you can
room.
see me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. There's a little bit of what's up, Freebam 247. There's like a little bit of glitch occasionally, so I might let you know if we have reception issues and you need to move closer to the Wi-Fi or something, but it's looking good for now. Everybody can hear us and see
Let
us?
me just do some preemptive. Yeah, because that was really actually what was wrong. People couldn't hear us or see us.
Right, we could hear and see each other
Yo,
just
what's up,
fine.
Free Bam?
It's always good to
Free
see
Bam in the
Freebam
house?
247. Yep.
You.
I just woke up from
Okay.
a nice nap, cuddling with some chihuahuas.
Okay. So, oh,
Hmm
That's so cute. I wish I had some chihuahuas.
Yep. Well, I'm lucky to have these little guys
Oh,
to hang out with right now in this era. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, cool.
Good,
Let's
good. We're being received
yes.
perfectly.
I'm gonna give the floor to you, and we can try to get everybody caught up to where we were at yesterday. Oh, hold on one second. I just
Okay.
messed something up on my
Okay.
end. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. Here we are.
Okay. Okay. So let's just start. Sees this probably didn't see the other one. I mean, there's some people who were there last night, but I wanted exclusive tea.
You're freezing up kind
BJ.
of like every 5 seconds. It freezes, and then it goes super fast to catch up, and then it gives like 5 seconds of clear communication, and then it's happened 3 times in a row.
Okay.
So
Okay. So I don't know what else to do other than just literally stand
yeah, like
in the middle of
squat over the
the
router,
room.
maybe.
How's that?
Uh, that works.
It's,
Now,
except
well,
for lighting. So
now you look like the version of the images that Alexa Nicholas submitted in the restraining order paperwork. You look like just a big black blob with the contrast light behind you. I'm so sorry. There you go. There's your beautiful face.
okay.
Hello.
So at least can I be heard and seen?
Yes, you are heard and seen right now.
Okay. Well then, this is probably just going to be short because I don't know how long I can stand.
That's fine.
Really. So, um, I wanted to open up with a piece of exclusive tea here on Good Morning Mayberry. BJ from That's Prize Witness slid in my DMs about 3 days ago and said to me, don't trust mystifying Melanie Carlson. She's a snake. I have the screenshots, for anybody who wants proof. Uh, I'm sure she would, if questioned, admit it. Good luck getting her to reply to you because I messaged her back and she didn't reply. She saw the message, but she didn't reply. She's not been very communicative since like last summer, even though we've shared a lot of information. I've talked to a lot of people on her investigation team, and, some of them have been moles. Some of them have been, people now who are clearly controlled opposition and have some plug into mainstream media somehow. Um, and I see that as a trend amongst, this corner of the Free Britney, movement. And I'm just, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions for a lot of people who, have very big platforms and lots of influence and apparently are being, you know, uh, highlighted in mainstream press as the face of justice for Britney. I think that's very, something that everybody in Free Britney should be aware of and should ask why. Why is Melanie Carlson mystifying the face of justice for Britney, which, let's remember, is Free Britney? That's what it was. Justice for Britney is Free Britney. And it turned into Justice for Britney because Britney was freed from the conservatorship. But some people believe that she's still not as free as she could be because there's still a team around her who is connected to Team Khan. So,
Connected to, that's generous.
the
Connected to this generous phrase.
hired by can be another word that's very legitimate to say. There's multiple people who were hired by Team Khan, specifically her dad, who are still around in her life, very close to her. But that's besides the point. The Justice for Britney movement, which was the Free Britney movement, and it changed its name, is now synonymous synonymous with Melanie Carlson in all public mainstream media today. Google Melanie Carlson, Free Britney, and her name pops up on everywhere, like everywhere. NPR, Fox News, everywhere. And this is like real time. This is happening right now. So, I had made a post about Melanie Carlson, and I think that's what BJ saw that, she messaged me about. But the post, right, that I made was asking questions, legitimate questions about why is Melanie Carlson the face of justice for Britney? I think everybody should be wondering. And she responded. Melanie Carlson. So I, let her talk, and she commented like in multiple comments, telling me a whole bunch of stuff. And some of those I found out were lies, or misconstrued information. I
Okay. You're
I like
so
that word
generous.
now.
You're so generous. That's all I know. In that episode where we were talking about Melanie Veronica and I was calling her a pink clown or whatever I was calling her, you said she's a pundit. Maybe that wasn't the order that my heat was coming in, but I said something overtly disrespectful in a profound sense that was completely defined based on her actual behavior. Maybe it was respectful because I see her for who she is. And but yeah, I
I
was
like
calling her.
I like
Go ahead.
using words that they'll have to Google to find
Pundit's
out what I
fair.
said to them.
I'm sure she knows. Of all people in this group, Melanie Veronica already knew what the word pundit meant. I'm 100% positive. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
go on. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm being generous
I,
with a gift to Melanie now.
I like to be generous. What can I say?
You do.
So I let her, go on, and she started with, luckily nobody died. Now, I really actually didn't know what she specifically was referring to, because I know she was at the Taylor Swift Swifties Against Ticketmaster hearing, and I was there. And something that only she would know because she was there, and something I know because I was there and the target of, was Michael Gray telling everybody when I was, handing out flyers, that I threatened to kill his wife. And I said, no, I didn't. You're just lying and making that up. And then he started, I have on my flyers of lies, which were excerpts from my report, all Googleable information that's out there, public and true, factual. I'll defend that for sure. But, even the reporters were like, look, he's not harassing us. Like, leave us alone. Like, he was harassing me. Legitimately, Michael Gray was harassing me by accusing me of doing something I never did, that he knows I didn't do, because when I said, so you're just going to make stuff up? He said, yeah. Like right there. He said, yeah. And now there's Freudian slips, right? And then there's like just basically admitting that you're wrong. But in the face of all the consequences, you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It
you
wasn't
said
like he tried to correct him.
the previous times where he called police on you, you called him out specifically about something too, and he was like, "Mm-hmm, that's what I'm gonna do."
That's the other part of it. The real tea. He's done it before. And I know Freudian slips don't happen that often. And he never corrected himself. He didn't say like, oh no, no, I'm not making it up. I didn't mean to say that. He in front of people, witnesses, legitimately, Sloan was there. Melanie Veronica was there.
They had just served me with
Um,
that that bullshit restraining order paperwork that's full of fuckery and nonsense.
TMZ was there.
Yes, they
I
were.
mean, it was like he's not afraid to admit that he's wrong. He's not afraid to do that. What he's afraid of is me. And all I do is play the violin. And I'm like asking him in front of all of these people right here, are you going to tell me that I'm harassing you by playing the violin? And he said, well, you're enabling my stalker. I said, I'm enabling somebody who's like around the block. He's like, well, he's close. I'm like, he's not obviously that close because you just served him with the TRO. So I know he knows he can't be within a certain amount of distance and he ain't within that distance. So how am I told to do? I don't know what else.
Say
I
that
don't even
say
know
that
what
part
else.
one more time. He froze up.
How how am I enabling and helping somebody who is being just told what to do and is following directions, actually following them before they're given? They
We
were
were like
already,
200 yards away when we had them roll up. They had to walk so fucking far, a football field and a half, approximately. I love how the cops be like, it's about a football field length. And I'm like, I don't fuck with football, motherfucker. Like, that's, I don't, come on, y'all. I don't sports ball. So, no sports arena. Y'all act like everybody cares about your dumb world. Anyway, I'm
God.
already hella far. But we were out of earshot and out of eye shot. We couldn't see them or hear them. They couldn't see or hear us from where we were. We were right by the entrance
Yeah.
to TMZ, and they were like they were past the crossroads on the cross street next to the Home Depot over there. Where they probably, it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like they all actually parked on the private property of the Home Depot and then they just walked straight out from their cars to across the street.
Mm-hmm. Which is illegal as far as I'm aware, but
Unlawful, rather. Yeah.
unlawful. Because I know they weren't parked in front. They couldn't have been parked on the street because all of that was no loading, no, it was a loading zone, no parking.
No.
So,
Well, was somebody had said Alexa was in a car on the street that would have been in the no loading, no parking, no stopping zone. Anyway, with their no permit protest. Oh wait, sorry, public event. My bad.
the police, their priorities are here or there. But
Sure.
let's just get back to, what Melanie Carlson was trying to refer to, which was,
Yep.
another one of Michael Gray's false accusations against me that he admitted openly in front of witnesses that is not true. Which is just baffling to me how he can do that. But yeah, she was there and she had done a couple things that were antagonistic to me, like playing the speaker over me while I'm playing violin. And then instead of playing violin, I started, my speech, which included parts of my report, which the journalists were actively listening to, not the Taylor Swift songs that she was playing on the speaker. And eventually she turned them off because it wasn't working, which is very, sad that the only reason she's even playing Taylor Swift's somebody who really does support Taylor Swift
Say
and
that
really
one more
does
time.
support
You
the
froze
Swifties
again.
against the domestic.
You said it's a shame that she was trying to drown you out because, and then it cut out.
It's a shame that the only time she's playing Taylor Swift songs on her speaker was to be in opposition of somebody who's actually supporting Taylor Swift and Swifties against Ticketmaster. That's the only time she played the speaker.
That's messed up because
So
that's literally the opposite of how we conduct ourselves when we're there in opposition to them.
I was playing Taylor Swift songs on the violin and I was getting mainstream press for it. People were, the cameras were filming me, and that's when Michael Gray was like, "Don't film him. He's not part of the Swifties."
They've had to fight so
I'm,
hard to get these mainstream cameras to give a shit about them, and you are such a camera magnet. I can imagine how
I
frustrating
didn't
that would
ask.
be. Of course you
I
didn't.
didn't
You
ask.
literally, I said camera magnet. Do magnets ask to be gravitated upon?
I guess no. I guess not. I have some type of electromagnetic thing going on because I mean it's like, clockwork. I just walked up. Eventually they just start filming me. I'm like, okay. And then actually afterwards, with the part that you actually see on the news, I'm on the sidewalk, but like next to the curb because I tried to be as far away from them as possible. Okay.
Hmm.
And the cameras are all towards the federal building, not the street. I'm playing violin. They turn their cameras towards me now. So I am a magnet as far as the camera goes. I don't know
You
what happens.
you attracted attention from the red carpet at the Oscars, people that were trying to go there to watch
I don't
not
know
not
what.
only celebrities, but celebrities that have been done up specifically to be seen for a night of being seen. And people were whoop at you. So that's all I know about
I,
anything. Magnet.
Hey, last bit on that though, because this is something that happened last night. I was at an open mic and I was, just like had my hand on the wall, like, just, chilling, whatever. And I was texting, and then I have this sense when I'm being filmed or something, and I just look up right into this guy's camera who's, taking pictures of me. And then he comes over, he's like, "Oh, you are just so beautiful with the light and everything." And he's French.
Mm.
He's, just in, town just for 10 days in LA. And I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay, cool." And then, his partner, I think, is a choreographer. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I, talk to him. And so, like, yeah, I'm just chilling, doing my thing. And then the camera follows. And it leads me into all sorts of types of situations. But Melanie Carlson was there that day. She heard what he said. And I'm guessing that's what she was referring to, as if to say, like, somebody could have really died. Like, life was in danger. I really don't fear. I don't think
Say it
he's a
one more
dangerous
time.
person
You were
physically.
saying
I think
who's, and then it froze on you. Say that part again.
I said, I'm not a dangerous person. I did not make any threats towards anybody. Michael Gray was just making false accusations against me, not physical threats or, trying to violently hurt me. And I'm not afraid of him. So I don't think he was going to hurt anybody. Nobody was going to die that day.
Well, see, he's not an intimidating person in stature or in a energy. His
Um,
persona is not very threatening,
mhm.
but him calling the police on you and telling them specific kinds of lies and like kind of making them think that you might be me, and then also telling worser lies to the court on paper with these bizarre, like they kind of misconstrued me to be some sort of like religious fanatic that has no sense, that's like delusionally blinded by the idea of celebrity and the fact that I was able to get close to even one or whatever, which is so bizarre because I when we talked, they know that I grew up with people that have been like one of my best friend, or well, one of my former best friends growing up. I was in a bizarre cult in like with this person, and she's grown up to tour with Kendrick Lamar. She's been on the Colbert Report with him, and then after that, she stole IP from me from a conversation that we had where she was like, "Oh, I can work with some like professional songwriters via my connections from Berkeley, and I can just take your idea because I have the pathway to get mainstream airplay, and you fucking don't even know how it works because I cut you off basically and acted like we're not even friends unless I want to steal from you." So there's no like, there's no there. Like celebrities are literally people, and a lot of the time I feel like celebrity is more of a disability than an advantage a lot of the time. But
That's,
anyway, with these lies that they
yeah,
told about me, connecting those lies to you and making the police think that you are me, and that that restraining order was served the day before, that's a day that somebody could have died, far as I know. That's the only circumstance in this entire
actually.
situation where somebody could have died.
Actually, yes. And I don't, she wasn't there that day. I would have recognized her. Yeah, she
No.
wasn't there that day.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
she's already been from the start and, you know, whatever. But she then goes in to say that I got mainstream press because I made a press release and I sent it out to journalists, which is something that anybody and everybody can do. And I know for a fact, having press myself, that not anybody and everybody gets on every single mainstream media platform that exists. That's not, no, that doesn't happen. I have a specific experience where I made a press release of sorts, and I sent it to one journalist who I knew because he interviewed me before. He worked for ABC 7 News. It had to go through 3 layers of approval. Three, not only from his superior or his superior superior, from the owner of the station in Chicago. They had to approve. everything. So everybody at the station had to be on board in order for me to get that. And it was reshared on like two other platforms that were owned by that specific local station. So for her to be on every single across the board, like, no, 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 honey, you have some plug. You have some absolute, you could just say you have a publicist. You could say you are a publicist. You could say, like, oh, I had, a company representing me. I, know an executive. I'm dating a billionaire. Like any of these things I would have accepted as just like, okay, I don't have to ask too many more questions. But when she said that everybody could do this, I had more questions because I'm like, no, no, you did
Mm.
something different,
Well,
miss.
and we
And
just made a
so,
press release for the Thursday, the TMZ thing. We put out a press release a couple weeks before that you had written up, and it was 3 pages. The only place that it's really gotten spun is to the court in evidence that Alexa Nicholas submitted against me, as though I haven't been forthright and clear about what I'm doing, and that it's all constitutionally protected and reasonable, legitimate activity. So, anyway,
facts.
no outlets put that out, as far as
Yeah.
I know. I don't even know
So,
that we got reposted very
so
much, except for like our like the next concentric ring of
yeah.
people who give a shit about this kind of thing.
Mm.
Hmm.
You know, I was like, look, I read your press release. That was the tea. I read her press release before she even came out and commented. And she also said in that response that she had just met the law firm outside the hearing. Well, you can Google Melanie Carlson, Swifties, and she's named and associated with Kinder Law, the law firm representing, honey. That doesn't make any
Say that
sense.
again, because you froze. That's
I said, she did not just meet them outside the hearing. That was premeditated,
hmm
all of it. It was very, very calculated and in, I would say, collusion
hmm
with the Swifties lawyer.
hmm
And
And
then
you're
I
saying
found
that,
the press release.
right? Go ahead.
I found the press release, and it's from the voice of the Swifties lawyer. So I'm like, did she write this? Is she the Swifties now new PR person? What is going on here? And she didn't have any answers for that. She blocked me actually after responding to me. Somehow her comment is still up
hmm
and people can still reply to her,
hmm
but she blocked me, so I can't reply to her and I can't get a response for my questions, follow-up questions that she inadequately answered in the first place and kind of actually tried to throw me off the trail by also mentioning Cade. Like, oh, people are more concerned about Cade. Okay, I went into Cade, by the way, because actually people were asking me before she even mentioned it, but I posted my findings about Cade, and I don't think we should be surprised that, yes, he is definitely complicit with Team Khan, but that's not news. That's been said for years,
hmm
babe. So,
Everybody's on
what
that
is
right now too, so it's kind of like, you know,
it was very timely. She's
yeah.
looking at this news and she's trying to get people to like associate her with what's going on right now. And she can jump from thing to thing. She can jump from Free Britney to Taylor Swift. I really still don't understand. Has Taylor Swift have to work with Britney?
Oh, you froze.
One of
Hold up,
Taylor's,
you
or
froze
sorry,
again.
who was actually, Dan Dimtro was one of Britney Spears' managers, and he managed Taylor Swift early in her career when she was signed to Sony
Mm.
for like an artist development deal. She didn't even, release anything under Sony. So is that, like the connection to Britney and Taylor for Melanie to just jump in this and say like, I know about Britney stuff, so I know about this stuff. I understand Ticketmaster is her like mortal enemy, it seems to be Melanie Carlson,
Well said.
has true, like, she has a boner for Ticketmaster, and she has a website for Ticketmaster, Take Down Ticketmaster,
She made
that
that.
also,
She made that because I was making flyers for her thing, and she was planning to probably do it anyway. But because I made those flyers and handed them out at TriStar for her event, which I actually had asked her, can you give me 4 or 5 sentences and I'll put them at the bottom of my flyer? And she sent me 4 to 5 paragraphs with a bunch of variables. I had to research, like market research things to figure out like what percentage of the market Ticketmaster holds and Live Nation and all that, how many years or whatever, what people, there were several X's that she did not fill in for me. I was on a limited
mm,
amount of time. I offered this to her, I think the Tuesday before TriStar, which was on Thursday, and I had to get all that from her that night. Then I had to really write it for her because she basically just sent me notes that I had to craft into something readable. And then I had to graphic design it, make a flyer. I paid to print them out. And she sent me a QR code with her information that was not even really done well. Like it was a weird kind of image to send that I had to also include so people could just scan it and go to the website where she had, it was a blank page, and then she built it out like that day, like that morning, like while I was actively handing shit out or something because I looked and it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it was after I was done with my activities. But uh yeah,
mm,
that's been the damnedest thing. I don't even think that not that I need to be thanked for anything, but like I really went out of my way to be like, "Hey, you're doing a permitted rally in DC and you want to do this online thing and really rally attention and awareness on that." I'm so on board with this concept. Like I'm really here for this. In the name of Kurt Cobain, I'm here for this shit. Let's do it. What can I do to help? Make this bigger, make this faster, get more awareness on what you're doing. And I am 100% sure that, especially because of the controversy surrounding me, I was noticed and the message traveled to the people that I was handing these
mm.
flyers out to. I even told her that I had like everybody was going to have problems with me and that I still was going to hand out her flyers anyway. And I figured there'd be a bigger
Right.
crowd than just the like 3 people that were going to have an issue with me being there, or 5, I guess, because I didn't expect Jaden to be there. But um, I figured since Melanie Veronica had already said, she'd already said that she believes in Alexa, to me and a few other people that I'd heard, and therefore she refuses to listen to anybody saying anything about Alexa being
Hmm.
abusive. And then I knew Sloan was probably having itchies with me, but he wasn't there for that one. But Michael Gray was there, casting side eye. All of them acted fine around me though. All of them got close enough to Melanie Veronica was the only one that indicated that she was nervous in my presence, and she didn't really do much with that. She put her sign up as I was approaching. She had like her sign, she put it in front of her face as I was coming up with my flyer. And then I was surprised to see her put the sign in front of her face. And I was like, Melanie, are you serious? And she dropped the sign. She said, "Oh, okay, shift. What do you have?" I was like, "Are you gonna take my flyer? Like this, I made these. Like it's nice that I made these. Look at them." And she was so into the Live Nation thing. And then my other flyer was the real and true origin stories of Eat Predators stuff with Kay and Kaylee, and that's where she started getting mad. It wasn't until after she saw the content of what I was talking about that she started acting like there was any problem with me, and that was still only her asking, "Are you going? Did you come here to diminish from what we came here to do?" And I just was thinking, well, what did you even come here to do? If it's to just put Alexa on for no reason, by any means necessary, put on Alexa because you believe in her, that scares me. That's religious shit that I don't understand. So anyway, that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
website that Melanie made was directly associated with the last collaboration, if you will, that she and I had, knowing that it was going to be spicy
Wow.
territory. And then the next thing I know, I'm hearing from you that there's a silent smear campaign to all the good influencers on the Free Britney ticket, and that you were reached out to, asked to block me for no fucking
Mm.
reason, report some of my posts just to get me in trouble with Instagram and make it look like I'm problematic. And instead of doing what you were asked to do, told to do, really, because it seems like it was more, the more I'm hearing from different
Yeah.
people and the types of people who actually have turned on me and blocked me, there's been a couple, like Free Britney Norway, blocked me and then unblocked me and then blocked me again. And like we talked in between, and it sounded like it was a lot of stress and pressure. She didn't really out anybody or give me any detailed details, but I already know who's pushing this smear campaign, and I already know the nature
Mm,
of it, and the things that she said really kind of, it was the negative space without the specific details of what was done to her to scare her, with enough of her actual fear and like, I don't even know like what, like I mean, I guess just fear. Like it's just a general anxiety. Like if I'm caught in association with you, they might cut me off too. And I'm thinking, well, who are they? Like this is a movement. Like
mm,
we're all doing this together and alone. Like unless people are galvanized on a click or like an op, like I don't, like we're all doing this alone unless we band together. So the choice to
yeah.
turn on me without a word is real like specific. It's a very bizarre thing to do. Anyway, Melanie Carlson and her fucking site about Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Her whole thing, her episode where she was on my show too, because that's, I would say, her fatal move. Because I mean it, in some senses it was her fatal move. In another sense, I'm sure that it enlightened like her ego and her sense of like, oh, I can actually like push this further, because I saw her doing her thing on Instagram and I reached out to her like, you got to come on my show, mainly because I saw her format was super messy and I was like, people need this in other ways. Like I can't, my eyes are going to bleed if I look at these charts for too long. But these like connection maps, and that she does all this stuff. Um
Mhm.
but I found it highly important that the same people that fucked Michael Jackson's life up and fucked his death up and his whole estate and destroyed any chance of his family really having anything in his wake. Those same people are the ones that are responsible for what's going on with Britney. They're the same people that are responsible for developing like the resurgence of Las Vegas economy based on her residency, and they're the same
I put
people.
her onto that information.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
dead ass put her onto that information. I put Free Britney on that information. I literally did an in-depth dive into the lawsuit of that estate case after Michael Jackson died. And I said, y'all need to do more research. Like, I'm not the only person who should be doing this research, which is why, I really actually thought she was, legit, because she was doing the research and going off and talking about the Azovs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so I see you're doing it. But now I haven't seen her do it. I haven't seen her really release anything except for that one map of connections, and she needs to put her face in there too because she's definitely part of that.
Yeah,
She's part of that little network now,
right.
and I know she probably don't think she is because she's got the Justice for Britney tag, but it's also there's this Free Britney America Association. I don't know how
Association.
many different. Mm-hmm.
Is that like a
I don't know how
nonprofit or a
many.
club? Like, are they
Mm,
incorporated or just
I
a
don't
gimmick?
know. I don't know how many different iterations of her business that she has, but she has many. Melanie Carlson, and that website actually was the linked website to Kinder Law. It said, "Oh, go check out our website." Our now that's questionable. Does Kinder Law own or have rights to an operation of and now an extension of all things Melanie Carlson and all things mystifying? Like, is that just like now the same thing? Are we supposed to say now like Kinder Law operates through Melanie Carlson because she's a representative of the company.
Mm-hmm.
But does Melanie Carlson also work through Kinder Law? Is she able now to just go and sick the lawyer onto people? Because that lawyer is not just like a typical litigation, it's personal injury, typically, like falls and car accidents and like, something like a burn, like those are the types of cases that Jennifer Kender takes. And so this is a real big fish for her. And I'm thinking maybe she's just doing whatever she can to get Melanie Carlson because she's so high profile. Now I'm thinking Melanie Carlson might have the clout and the leverage over Kinder Law. It's not like Kinder Law was like, hey, we got a job for you. Maybe she was like, hey, like I'm tapped in and I can
Hopefully
put you.
grow significantly since she's been on my show, because she only had maybe like 2 to 5 thousand followers or something like that a couple of months ago when she
Ooh,
blocked me. Where's she at?
that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of clout could you be referring to? Not
I
that
mean,
that's
as far
negligible.
as
Like 2,000 followers is a pretty significant amount in a scene like this. Like, and
well, it seems like she's the reason why Alexa got involved with the Swifties. That's
that
how
makes
she got
sense.
involved.
And that I am going to say is directly my doing. I was finishing editing the episode of Mystifying while I was staying at Alexa's house in November. And Alexa and her husband listened to the episode. It was the final cut of the bulk of it, but I hadn't done the intro and outro yet. And after listening to it, Alexa and like before listening to it, I had said that you should listen to this. I'd like you to come on for the intro, not just because of the episode that it was and being about like Free Britney businesses and stuff, but I had been for a few weeks at that point, couple weeks. I'm not sure how many. Maybe it was just the one episode at that point, but I had been talking about Sam Maloney's NDA with Warner Music Group and abolish that shit or whatever. And I was going to make a point of doing that at the beginning of every episode. I managed to maintain that for some time until, I have kind of a bad taste in my mouth about Sam Maloney at this
Hmm.
point. I'll leave that there for now, but Alexa was going to come on and do the intro, and it was just going to be two voices talking about Warner Music Group abolish this like bullshit practice of having conduct related NDAs to protect your like upper executives so that they can just do whatever they want to anybody. Um, so listening to that episode, Alexa was really into it, and I had already been saying y'all should know each other. It's funny because uh I have like the specific evidence of when I connected them and how I connected them. Um, so that'll all be coming out at some point. I'm not the type of person to just throw messy receipts out for the general public because honestly, fuck all of y'all. Like it's I don't know who you think you are most of the time. Like a lot of the people that be talking to me, you should just shut up and watch or include yourself in a proactive way. But making demands on people that are actually doing work is gonna get you bitched at. Like I don't have anything to prove to any of y'all until after I prove it to the court, and then it becomes public record, and then you peons can get it. Like I don't, if you want to step up your game and actually show up and have some sense, that's something. But the people that ask me about like, hey, show receipts, they're always these NPC ass like like whatever. Like nobody gives a shit about y'all, and so you're just making hella noise on the internet, acting crazy, and you don't do any
Yeah.
research, you don't do anything useful. So the receipts that will be coming about that are spicier than I remembered them being when I ran into them the other day. Uh, I absolutely introduced them to each other, and they don't actually have a right to have cut me out of this work dynamic the way that they have, and we will all be dealing with that in several courts of law, actually. So,
Hmm. Well, I have, made it at least known that uh, Alexa and Eat Predators is now rebranding, it seems, by the power of Kinder Law,
hmm
um, which is important. That's a very important thing. That's a very big, important development in the whole Free Britney movement as we know it, because with the idea that they are a reform movement. They're not actually an activist movement that is based off of any more specifically targeting people who have allegations towards them and trying to get them canceled in a way from their contracts and their companies. This is now a wider scope targeting companies, right? And trying to shake them up
hmm Also,
in
my
whatever
by the
kind of
way,
way. Hmm.
sorry.
So, it's important to note that Kinder Law, this law firm representing Taylor Swift fans, has taken the reins on a lot of what's going on, because when I was there at the hearing, I saw how close they were. Like, it wasn't just like oh, they just happened to be there at the same time. They were part of the whole thing. They were literally interwoven into each other. Eat Predators is now part of a coalition of Kinder Law.
I was
And
supposed
that
to find
means
out
this
about that.
coalition can be weaponized at will towards any cause, anything. And if I think of like something maybe, in the future that we're looking at, like, I mean, honestly, I couldn't even tell you what the next big thing would be. I really was surprised they didn't go for free Kesha. That's actually what
First
I
of
was
all,
really
nah,
surprised for.
I'm not surprised about that. One thing I do want to note, no matter what their next move is, if you make a chronological list of their targets or victims, if you will, it starts with Live Nation and Ticketmaster, and then the next thing on the list is you and me. So I don't know how
True.
big we can be considered to be, but I don't know that like current scope and size really matters when whatever we're doing is significant enough to get their attention to create this kind of, I can anybody but me and you. Now that like I couldn't have imagined you until you showed up in my life and actually did the things that you've been doing. But
Mhm.
nobody's resilient against the type of shit that I deal with. This isn't the first time I've been under pressure that's beyond what people do. A lot of the time, people bail, they go find something else, they get out of Dodge or whatever, they go on the lam, they find another hobby or whatever. But this isn't a hobby for me. This is my life, is uprooting bullshit systems. I'm an exorcist, I'm a demon slayer, whatever you might call it. I do it within my own psyche, I do it within society. And that's not that people are the demons, but we got these shadow sides to ourselves. And when people are leading with their fuckery, I'm going to figure it out, especially if they want me to participate in their fuckery. That's where shit gets weird for me because I'm like, wait, what did you expect out of me? I don't do that. What I do is try to get you to act better. And if you can't do that, then we might be at odds for quite a while. But
Yeah. I think a lot of these, I think we're kind of a vibe check in a way,
mm, mm,
without trying to be, without, like claiming it out there, like, hey, we're here to make sure like everybody's doing their job. But, when we're doing our job and these people, they are out here doing something, they're working on something, but they're not doing their jobs. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not being very transparent about it. They're not being very, like nice about it. And when you're doing the work, right? The actual work, freeing people out of oppressive, situations, like when you are identifying current victims, people who are suffering today, right now, people who very freshly are aware of what's going on, and they have a story to tell, and they have a reason to be here to do this. You don't involve yourself in things that can take you out of it.
mm.
You only involve yourselves into things that can get you deeper. And I think you tried to pull them deeper into the work, and they were like, ew, no, ew, real work? No, I don't want to do that. I want to be at the Grammys. So
Yeah.
it ended up working where we're doing so much work now. We've taken over. We've taken over the work that really needs to be done. And I'm doing double time. I'm doing night shifts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going in. There's some things I can't even tell y'all that I'm doing, but there's a reason why I had to archive my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing some stuff right now. So I need y'all to like wait until I have more information to verify. But I got some. I have some that's coming out, but it's just like
Can
these people are not
confirm
doing the
it's
real.
juicy. It's meaty. It's steaming. Yeah, can confirm.
Yes. Oh, mine's about to die. But we're doing the real work, and they are all over the media, acting, really acting. And this is a travesty, I believe. This is a travesty.
It is.
So I'm hoping that more people from Free Britney become more aware and become, oh, hey, Josh. Sorry, I just saw somebody that I know. I hope people become more aware of how this movement has been infiltrated. It's not like can be or like might be. It has been infiltrated. It has definitely it has now corporate
Mm,
interests. This is the fear that everybody had that was not legitimized until now.
yeah.
I didn't believe that we could really come to a point where we have companies that are just picking and choosing who to put in to the story and who to leave out and who to almost kill. Like they're trying to kill characters out here.
Yeah.
I was told about like, oh, there's people who have tried to do this and then they left and then they disappeared, as in like not that they took, but they disappeared because it was too much for them, it got too hot, whatever. And I'm like, okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. If you want to say when it got hot for me, it got hot for me when my label tried to kill me. So, it's been hot as hell. And I'm actually out of the woods now. I'm like, oh, so it's actually not so bad out here when you're actually an activist and you're fighting for everybody else's freedom. When you free, when you got out, it's like a Harriet Tubman moment. And you like, oh, let me go back real quick and go get the slaves because I actually know the path. Look, they don't know the path. Somebody got to go back and get them.
Yes.
So let me go back
Uh,
multiple times, and we ain't losing no passengers.
yeah.
That's my thing. That's what Harriet Tubman said. We do not lose. She never lost one passenger.
Yeah.
I do not lose one passenger. If you on this journey with me, shift, we ain't losing you. Okay? We ain't losing me. We ain't losing nobody. Free bam, we ain't losing you. Okay? We ain't losing nobody. I wish I could say, more names because there's some people who they lost. They got lost before we even came into it. It was like they couldn't really find their way into
BJ.
this.
I don't. It's nice that she's throwing some satchels of resources out into the woods or whatever she's doing, but I'm disappointed in her deeply. I can't. She's not even going to see this video because she's got me blocked because I was talking about Sloan needing to be more responsible with his platform, and she didn't like it that I was mentioning that in comments, in public, not in public, in front of people. You keep this in private. Well, you never check my fucking DMs, bitch. What you talking about?
This is what I'll leave because I do have 10% left on my phone.
Yeah.
It's sad how like I came into this, like I actually emailed Sloan, I emailed Popcorn Planet, I emailed BJ, and I think I emailed Emily D. Baker.
Mm.
The only person who actually replied was BJ. I've now gotten to talk to Andy Signor from Popcorn Planet. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually talk to directly Sloan, except for like, oh, do you want to take my flyer? But, I've now at least been introduced to in person Sloan.
He's a
Um,
brat.
and I've talked to BJ now over a year. And I can tell you, all these people, the hype is not real. They are not here to help anybody I think they talk about. Because if they were really here to help BAM, if they were really here to help, I think they're here to help the public help them in a
Hmm.
sense of like, oh, here, fetch.
Yes.
So when they point and they say, look, here, this person, they need your help, they are really expecting the public to do something about it because they think all they can do is just talk about it. And that's not true. If I'm here, not just reporting, but actively saving lives, like actively looking and seeing who's involved in this and that, and trying to pick people out and trying to come up to them, talk to them, get their side of the story. I've talked to more people in BAM's camp than BJ,
Hmm.
and she knows that.
Hmm. So have
I've
I.
talked to probably more people in Britney's sphere of influence than BJ. I've probably talked to more people, at least, in the industry that really know what the fuck's going on than Sloan,
Oh, for
BJ,
sure.
Andy, all put together because all they do is talk about people who everybody already knows.
Mm. Well,
There are
their
so many
opinions
people
are
we.
highly dehumanizing. They're either ingratiating and blowing smoke up asses, or they're fully dehumanizing whoever they're talking about. Like I don't like
Mhm,
Ezra Miller at all. I think that motherfucker belongs in
mhm,
prison. But the way that they speak about not only Ezra, but anybody that might be like Ezra, they create danger for regular people that could be seen as a reflection of Ezra to random folks in society that don't know better. Like they don't, their narrative and the
mhm.
way that they conduct their rhetoric is fucking irresponsible and simply just dehumanizing. It's harmful.
I mean, there's a lot of people who we don't know that are suffering from a Free Britney situation, you know? And that's what I saw Free Britney as.
Mm,
I saw Free Britney as, yes, let's get Britney out of that bitch. And I was dead ass about it before it went mainstream. I released a book. I literally was like, these people are bad. We need to help her. Like, but there were more people, there were more names, and some of those people have still yet to get their freedom. And I'm still fighting and I'm still researching and I'm still figuring out like what's going on with them. And some of them I think, they're so discouraged that they think they're never going to get out. They think they're never going to get out of these slave contracts. They're never going to not have a handler who's, making them perform, making them do things with executives and powerful people in the industry. Like that stuff, is dead ass real. And it happens to smaller artists that are signed to big labels. It happens to some artists who aren't signed, but they have managers, they have agents, they have publicists, they have groomers who are pushing them into these situations so that they can get signed, and then they end up getting abused and they get assaulted. This is a very common thing. And people just don't talk about it because they wait until they either have overcome the industry, right? Or they wait until, it's happened and they don't get what they want. They literally can't get signed anymore. They can't because they're used goods.
mm-hmm,
And now that's when they come out and talk, and it's too late
mm,
because nobody's going to believe you. You're a pass around. Everybody has a story about you now. But I came in fresh and hot, and I was like, I ain't going. And I made a book about it. And I keep making books because I'm not done talking about it. And I'm not done making music. I'm not done thriving. So I have to
mm.
go. My phone is going to die in like 2 seconds.
That's what's up. Yeah, I just want to end with this. My stake in the game is very broad, and I'm here for like the concept of needing to step up for people that are entertainers and performers and people that have like full capacity to be abused and used as a puppet like that. Like how are you not capable of making any decisions for yourself, but you can be worked 7 days a week is beyond me. But I was just at like maybe 3 days ago, I was requested to join a team for a guy who's got cerebral palsy and he's in a conservatorship and he doesn't need to be. And when Britney Spears was released from her conservatorship, I was a case manager for a very complex situation. I was working for a guy who was quadriplegic and on a vent and had a feeding tube and a trach and was very cognizant and had his full capacity. He was not in a conservatorship. And during that period of time, I was asked by his doctor and several social workers to conserve him, not because he couldn't make his own decisions, but because the only living family that he had was a danger to him. And it would have been in my best interest, in his best interest, if I had just accepted that. Uh, and I just waited a little too long. So I've seen things from a different angle. I've been coming at this from a disability advocate perspective as much as I have from a perspective where it's ridiculous for people to have these extraordinary careers and talents and be treated these ways. But we should wrap this up. I don't know if Lappy's phone just died because I've got like a spinning wheel of death over him and he's frozen. Thank you all for coming and listening to us. I am so grateful for everybody that is here. I already was grateful for my audience. Yeah, Lappy's phone must have just died. I already was grateful for my audience. And it's not even really an audience. My community. I do a lot of talking and I do a lot of presentations and kind of putting stuff on for people to observe and absorb and consume. Um, but I like this to be an interactive kind of thing. I care about people that are showing up for this type of stuff. I care about people in general to be doing this type of thing, but um yeah, I'm gonna end up uploading this video onto YouTube, assuming that it actually comes through properly or whatever. I don't know what happened to the videos we tried to make last night, but thank y'all for being here, and we will see y'all again soon.